Good day, everyone. This meeting is being conducted by a hybrid setup to ensure accessibility and convenience for all participants. Copies of the 2024 Annual Report and Information Statement may be downloaded from our ASM portal, which may be found at www.holcim.ph/ASM2025. In compliance with regulations, we'd like to inform our stockholders and other participants that this meeting is being recorded. Welcome to the 2025 Annual Stockholders Meeting of Holcim Philippines, Inc. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our chairman, Mr. Martin Kriegner.
Mr. Chairman.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. I was auto-muted, it seems. Sorry for that. So I said good afternoon to everybody, and I'm welcoming you all to the Holcim Philippines Annual Stockholder Meeting. Today, we gather to review our company's performance over the past year. It was a complex and challenging period for the cement sector in the Philippines, the most critical being the continued influx of imported cement. Yes, despite these challenges, Holcim Philippines has remained steadfast in its mission. We have continued to deliver high-quality, reliable products to meet the growing demands of the country's construction needs. We are also proud to share that we have deepened our partnerships with private, public, and government agencies. Together, we are championing more sustainable ways of leveraging our innovative green building solutions and circular economy practices to contribute meaningfully to the country's development. As we look ahead, we remain confident in our direction and in our ability to continue driving value for all our stakeholders. Thank you for your continued trust and support. I would now like to acknowledge the presence of the members of the Board of Directors. Ms. Karen Tan. Then Ms. Claudia Albertini. And then our independent director, Mr. Gerardo Ablaza. Our President and Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Nicola George. Our Corporate Secretary, Attorney Belinda Dugan. And our Chief Financial Officer, Ms. Zoe Sibala. The members of the Holcim Philippines Executive Committee and Leadership Team are also welcome. Let us now proceed to the first item of the agenda. Will the Corporate Secretary please certify the posting and publication of notices and the existence of a quorum for this meeting?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I certify that stockholders of record as of April 15, 2025 have been duly notified of this 2025 Annual Stockholders Meeting in accordance with our internal guidelines specified in the Definitive Information Statement and the requirements of the Securities and Exchange Commission. The notice and agenda of this meeting, together with the Definitive Information Statement, which also contains the requirements and procedure for registration, participation, and voting in absentia, were posted on the company's website www.holcim.ph/ASM2025. In addition, the notice and agenda of this meeting was published in the Manila Times on April 23 and April 24, 2025, and in the Business Mirror on April 25 and April 26, 2025, both in print and online formats. Based on the record of attendance, there are represented in this meeting, in person or by proxy, stockholders owning 6,315,710,074 shares, representing 97.89% of the total issued and outstanding shares of the company as of the record date, April 15, 2025. There is therefore a quorum at this meeting. I also certify that the Nicholas George, our chairman of this meeting, is holding proxies for 6,315,710,074 shares, representing 97.89% of the total issued and outstanding shares of the company.
You may now please share the rules of conduct and voting of this meeting.
Mr. Chairman, the rules for voting in this meeting are specified in the definitive information statement, which is available for download at the company's website, www.holcim.ph/ASM2025. I would just like to remind the shareholders of the following. Shareholders who registered are entitled to vote may vote by proxy by sending the signed copy of the proxy form not later than May 9, 2025 via email to hpilegalandcompliance/phl@holcim.com or in absentia by filling in on the online voting form available at the company's website www.holcim.ph/ASM2025. We have preliminarily tabulated the votes received as of the last day of receiving the proxies or on May 9, 2025, after the proxy validation process. The tabulated votes represent stockholders owning 6,315,710,074 shares, voting shares, representing 100% of the total issued and outstanding shares represented in this meeting. I will refer to the preliminary tabulation when I report the voting results during the meeting. The results of the final tabulation will be specified in the minutes of this meeting to be posted in HPI's website. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you for this. There being a quorum in this meeting, we now proceed to other matters in the agenda, please.
The first matter in the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the 2024 Annual Stockholders Meeting held via remote communication on May 15, 2024. Copies of the minutes of meetings are posted in the company's website and is also annexed to the company's definitive information statement. Mr. Chairman, on the voting results, I am pleased to report that shareholders representing 6,315,710,074 shares, or 100% of the total number of shares represented in this meeting, have voted in favor of the approval of the minutes of the Annual Stockholders Meeting held on May 15, 2024.
With that, the minutes of the 2024 Annual Stockholders Meeting are hereby approved. The operations report is the next topic, is composed of the message of our President and Chief Executive Officer, the 2024 Annual Report, and the audited financial statements for the period ended December 31st, 2024. May I now call Mr. Nicholas George to report briefly on the company's operations in the year 24.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon, everyone. So let's go to the next slide, please. So a quick update on the health and safety for the year 24. As you can see, we've managed to have a good result. We've limited lost time injury and no fatality at site. All the program of the Holcim Group are fully implemented locally, and we didn't record any particular significant events. Next slide. On the sustainability side, we had almost flat CO2 emission compared to 2023. This was driven mainly by clinker factor challenges, but still reasonable when we compare to the rest of the Holcim Group. Circular economy was also fairly stable, a bit less in terms of recycled material, but nothing too significant, and good performance on water withdrawal. Regarding the market now and our performance, here we present the volume of sales from last year. You can see that on a full year we were flat. This was a split first part of the year, quite a contraction because we had a significant price premium. This was corrected in the second part of the year when we recovered market share. So overall, flat for the year 24 compared to 23. Here we present the price. So unfortunately, you can see that the price has been going down continuously since the beginning of 2023. 24 was no exception, with a significant drop first part of the year, and then further stabilization after July. Now prices are stable at a reasonable level since December 24, continuing for this year. In terms of financials, these numbers are excluding the one-off, so you might have some discrepancy with the financial statement that were audited. But in revenue, you have seen the price drop while the volume were flat, so this translated in 11% drop in revenue. Cost of sales went down by 2%, mainly driven by energy. And EBIT, because of the drop of revenue without enough cost reduction, was decreased by 85%, but remained positive. Free cash flow also remained significantly positive and only witnessed a 32% drop compared to 23. Now, briefly for 25 outlook, in terms of market, we expect a moderate growth for the construction segment. We also have a slowdown in the first half because of the election period. I can tell you today that the first quarter was close to -6%, but we expect a recovery in the second part. We will continue to have some pressure from the Vietnamese export. Their prices remain low and they have significant excess capacity to continue pushing to our market. Our market has become the biggest export destination for Vietnamese cement, so this is something that is here to last. In terms of Holcim internal priorities, so we'll continue work on health and safety and sustainability. No change in our priorities. We will continue to recover market share. We have a clear objective to go approximately at 20%. We are attempting to recover on prices and defend our price premium with the brand and our road to market. And finally, last but not least, efficiency of our plant. We need to run our plant as best as possible to be able to compete in terms of costs. And that's it for me, Mr. Chairman.
Thanks a lot for this report. Copies of the 2024 annual report and audited financial statements for the period ended December 31st, 2024, also posted on our official website. Please, Company Secretary, share the voting results.
Mr. Chairman, I am pleased to report that shareholders owning 6,315,710,074 shares, or 100% of the total number of shares represented in this meeting, have voted for the approval of the operations report comprised of the 2024 annual report and the audited financial statements for the period ended December 31, 2024.
The company's operations report, comprising the message of the Chief Executive Officer, the 2024 annual report, and the audited financial statements for the period ending December 31st, 2024, are approved. We move now to the election of directors. May I request you to advise the body of the nominations we have received?
Mr. Chairman, we have received the following nominations for directors of the company for the year 2025 to 2026. Mr. Martin Kriegner, Mr. Rajesh Sorana, Mr. Nicholas George, Ms. Tan Tenwi, and Mr. Gerardo C. Ablaza Jr. as independent director. The Corporate Governance Committee has duly ascertained that the 5 nominees are qualified to serve as directors of the company. All the nominees have given their consent to their respective nominations.
Can you share the results, please, of the election?
Mr. Chairman, each of the nominees have received at least 6,315,710,074 votes. And based on this, I certify that each nominee has received sufficient votes for election to the board.
I declare all nominees as the duly elected members of the Board of Directors for 2024 to 2025 to 2026. We now proceed to the next item, which is the approval of the acquisition of Eco Edge Resources Corporation shares of stock, please.
Mr. Chairman, the board recommends the approval of the acquisition of 300,000 common shares of stock of EcoEdge Resources Corporation, representing 40% of all shares of EcoEdge for the aggregate purchase price of $1 from Lafarge Industrial Ecology International. EcoEdge is a joint venture between LIEI and Basic Environmental Systems and Technologies Incorporated. The only asset of EcoEdge is the alternative fuel material shredder, which is currently installed and is being utilized by the Holcim Bulacan plant. On the voting results, I am pleased to report that shareholders owning 6,315,710,074 shares, or 100% of the total number of shares represented in this meeting, have voted in favor of the approval of the acquisition of EcoEdge shares of stock.
Thank you. This is hereby approved. We now proceed to the next item on the agenda, which is the approval of the change of address of the corporation. Can you please proceed?
Mr. Chairman, the board recommends the approval of the change of address of the corporation in the Securities and Exchange Commission's e-amend portal from Makati City to Taguig City. On the voting results, I am pleased to report that shareholders owning 6,315,710,074 shares, or 100% of the total number of shares represented in this meeting, have voted in favor of the approval of the change of address of the corporation in the SEC's e-amend portal from Makati City to Taguig City.
This is hereby approved. We now go to the approval and rectification of all acts, contracts, investment, and resolutions of the Board of Directors, the Board Committees, and Management since the last annual stockholders meeting. Management seeks the approval of the shareholders for all acts, contracts, investments, and resolutions of the Board of Directors, the Board Committees, and Management since the last annual meeting. May I ask to share the voting results on this item, please?
Mr. Chairman, I am pleased to report that shareholders owning 6,315,710,074 shares, or 100% of the total number of shares represented in this meeting, have voted for the approval and ratification of all the acts, contracts, investments, and resolutions of the Board of Directors, the Board Committees, and Management since the last annual stockholders meeting.
This is approved. Next item is the appointment of the external auditor, please.
Mr. Chairman, the Audit Committee recommends the appointment of SGV and Company as the external auditor for the company for the year 2025. On the voting results, I am pleased to report that shareholders owning 6,315,710,074 shares, or 100% of the total number of shares represented in this meeting, have voted in favor of the appointment of SGV and Company as the company's external auditor for the year 2025.
SJV and Company is hereby appointed as the company's external auditor for the year 2025. The next item on the agenda, I think, is any other matters, Mrs. Secretary?
No other matter, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, if this is not the case, we can now adjourn this meeting. Thank you very much for your attendance. Again, we are committed to strengthening our company to uplift all our stakeholders and better support the progress of the country. Thank you for attending this meeting of Holcim Philippines. Thank you.
Thank you again.